Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Final Space Season 2.
So,
So Final Space Season 2 is finally on Netflix. The original season was somehow procured by Netflix and classed as an original series, even though it didn't originally air on Netflix. They bought the rights to it for most of the world. I believe in the US, most have seen it already, but here in the UK and some other parts of the world, it's classed as an original, but it's kind of not confusing. Anyway, we have season 2, and I'm super excited to talk about it. Right at the beginning of season 2, Gary is rescued from the wreckage of space and then must earn his freedom by winning the deadliest race in the galaxy. The crew gets trapped in a happy ship where things aren't what they seem, and Gary must confront the human cost of having lost Earth. I was surprised by how much I love season 1. The characters that they built and the world they developed. I was surprised by how much I was into the characters. Then when something happened, like with Avocado, oh my gosh, still not over that. I was devastated. It's the first time I've seen my whole family invested in an animation series that were just, rooting for every one of the characters. My whole family watched this and we were so into it. And when it ended, we were like, no, how could you leave it like that? Finally, we've seen season 2, and thank goodness the first episode. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, there is something that will fill your hearts with joy without going into spoilers for that. What I'm very excited to say is that it's not as good as season 1. It's better. Season 2 is brilliant because they managed to fill each episode with its own contained story but further the plot along at the same time. And that's very well done. That's very hard to do when you have such a great arc, a great story, but you got new characters to develop and you got individual stories to tell within each episode. I'm amazed at how much they pack into each episode. The animation, of course, is the same, and the character voices are as good as the original. Obviously, there's the same characters playing. You have Claptrap playing Claptrap. I'm joking. It's just I love that the character that reminds me so much of Claptrap from Borderlands.
I'm back. No!
However, there are new characters that you're really going to love. I guess you'll probably fall in love with these characters as well. Like, if you like the characters from Season 1, you're going to love Season 2's characters.
All right. Sup?
I'm still amazed at how much they pack into each episode, how much goes on. I feel like every episode the world is ending or the universe is ending. They have to somehow confront their innermost demons and build character at the same time, as well as having to deal with everything that's going on in front of them. They're dealing with losing Earth. They're constantly dealing with things that just happen within each episode. Anything can happen in one episode. The imagination and the writing is just fantastic in these episodes. At the same time, the heart of this is always about family and what a family is, about finding family, about lost family, about what makes a family. I love that at the core center premise, and it's also about love and finding those long lost loved ones, and you're rooting for the characters the whole time. So where you love the animation and the story, the ground, the heart of it is always about this family and those loved ones. That's where the heart is. So it's the relationships and the arcs that they build within these characters that you just can't help going, yeah, I'm totally on board for this. And I'm happy to say the writing is so good in season 2. If you thought it was good in season 1, you're gonna love season 2. And we also have 13 episodes instead of 10. So they've obviously got faith in their characters. I know we're getting more. Let me know what's your favorite episode of season 2 is, or even season 1. And what is your favorite character? I do love Gary. And I'm glad to say they've taken his character down a notch. I was speaking to a friend of mine where Gary was a lot in season 1 and he was great, but this time they've tempered his craziness a little bit. But that's because there's a lot of other characters that are just as mental as him or as lovable, and there's always this kind of dynamic that you need to get right within the character arcs of who is doing what. You can't have one character be over excessively mental if there's another character that's doing the same. They each need to have their own defined characteristics, and I feel like they really found that in season 2. And then the score, oh my gosh, the score, even that has an amazing story behind it. From the original series, where the person that was going to score it fell really ill, and he was really sad that he was going to be unable to score it. And if you go and watch it, there's an episode on Netflix in one of these series, I believe, where they show this whole story where he was eventually able to score it. And so I'm so happy. So even when you're listening to the score of Final Space, know that a lot of work and lot of work has gone into the background for that score. I do love the score. I think it's fantastic. It takes you on an adventure. It's a character of its own. This is one of the best animated series I've seen in a long time. I'm loving Rick and Morty, and I'm loving the Dragon Prince, but this is also just fantastic. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about season 2, whether you think it's as good, or like me, whether you think season 2 is better than the first season. Thanks so much for watching this review. Chat to me in the comments below, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.